Welcome to Sage Audio. Today let's cover how to make clear vocals in 10 steps. But first, if you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Monitor levels with Cashmere Chain. For this video, I'm going to be using this Cashmere Chain by Excite Audio since it makes it easier to A/B my processing. Additionally, it shows me the level changes in RMS for each plugin so I can get a better idea of how I need to compensate for gain changes. Now, as you can see, I'm going to use various equalizers, compressors, one saturator, and then end my chain with some temporal effects. So keep this order in mind when you're creating your chain. Let's start by listening to the full before and after to understand how the vocal sounds originally and what it's going to sound like when clarified by these processors.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
Emphasize clarity with Shade EQ. I'll start my chain with the Shade EQ by UVI since it lets me create more complex dynamic bands. I've cut out my plosives as much as possible with this high-pass filter, and then I created two bands, one on 250 Hz and one on 3.25 kHz. Now you'll notice that I've created two followers. The first uses 3.25 kHz as the trigger. Now I've linked this to the gain of my 250 Hz band, meaning whenever 3.25 kHz crosses my threshold, 250 Hz will be attenuated. This reduces the masking effect that 250 Hz has on higher, more clarifying frequencies. Conversely, I'm using 250 Hz as the trigger for my second follower, and I linked it to the gain of my 3.25 kHz band, making it so that whenever 250 Hz is present, 3.25 kHz is amplified. So this is going to further clarify the vocal. Let's take a listen to the effect and keep in mind that if you don't have this EQ, you could also use static attenuation of 250 Hz and amplification of 3.25 kHz instead.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
If you're enjoying the video, hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already. It's free and it helps us bring you more videos. Reduce masking with Gullfoss EQ. Next, I introduced the Gullfoss EQ since it can dynamically amplify and attenuate bands in a way that I couldn't accomplish with a regular EQ. Now I've omitted the processing below 200 Hz since I don't want to affect the lows that I cut last chapter. Then I subtly increase the recover and the tame functions. Recover will reduce masking, making hidden details of the vocal cut through, whereas tame reduces shrill and unwanted highs. Let's take a listen and notice how the vocal sounds clear.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
Reduce resonances with Soothe 2. With Soothe 2, I'll dynamically attenuate resonances that reduce clarity and cause the vocal to sound unbalanced. Using the pre-emphasis EQ, I've amplified more of my lows and mids into the processor to focus more on attenuating aspects that make the vocal sound cluttered and muddy. I lowered the mix a little to avoid too much attenuation and also de-essed slightly by emphasizing some sibilance frequencies. Let's take a listen to how resonance reducing makes the overall vocal sound balanced.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
De-ess to control highs. Although high frequencies are crucial to achieving vocal clarity, we don't want aggressive highs that sound shrill or make the vocal sound unbalanced. I'll use a de-esser to attenuate sibilance moderately, starting with this high shelf filter before honing in on the most problematic frequency range with a bell filter. Let's take a listen and notice how the highs sound slightly more pleasant and that the vocal still has a good deal of clarity despite this attenuation.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I wanna undo this.
Bring forward with compression. Balancing dynamics and bringing up quieter parts of the vocal is crucial to creating clarity. With this compressor, I've used the vocal algorithm, but more importantly, introduced look ahead combined with automatic makeup gain. This ensures that the entirety of the vocal is captured, controlled, and then amplified. When observing the Cashmere chain, I noticed that the compressor increased the RMS level, so I compensated for that with the wet gain and the output. Let's take a listen to how bringing details forward with compression helps clarify the vocal.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
Saturate, clarifying frequencies. With this PSP saturator, I use the frequency-specific function to target my clarifying frequencies, saturate them, and then amplify them slightly. Now this greatly increased my vocal's clarity. As for 250 Hz, I saturated them to thicken them, but then compensated by lowering the level before blending in the overall amount of saturation. Also, notice that I pushed my signal into saturation by increasing the input before compensating with a lowered output. Let's take a listen and notice how saturation, especially on high frequencies, has a big impact on vocal clarity.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
If you're enjoying the channel, use the search box to watch more of our videos. Add air to the vocal. This free plugin lets me quickly add some air frequencies to the vocal, both in the high mids and then the highest frequencies, roughly 12 kHz and above. Since we de-essed earlier, I can amplify these clarifying frequencies without worrying too much about creating a harsh sound. Additionally, I saw that this processor increased the RMS level, so I used the output trim to compensate. Let's take a listen to the effect that this plugin has.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
Introduce high frequency delay. With my dynamics and frequency response controlled, as well as my harmonics added via saturation, I'm going to turn my attention to temporal effects like delay and reverb. Starting with delay, I'll introduce shorter taps and isolate them to clarifying frequencies or my high mids. I increase ducking as well, which means that the delay taps are attenuated whenever the vocal's transient is present, letting it cut through first before the delay follows. By quickly delaying higher frequencies and ensuring that the transient cuts through, I thicken and clarify the vocal while making it stylistic and more interesting. Let's take a listen.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
Reverberate, clarifying highs. Last up, I'm going to introduce reverb, in particular medium length plate reverb that accentuates high frequencies with a small amount of pre-delay to help the dry vocal cut through first. Although I liked the emphasized highs, I found that the vocal was being made a little too thin. That said, I also amplified the lows slightly to find a better balance. Let's take a listen to this final step and notice how the vocal sounds polished, clear, and has temporal effects that both add character and increase overall clarity.
My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this. My heart is in ruin, I barely recognize myself. I wanna undo this.
If you have a mix that you need mastered, send it to us to receive a free mastered sample of it with the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching.